Welcome to the JDisc Discovery video channel. My name is Robbie and I would like to talk today about enhancements to the Azure Cloud Discovery that we have recently added to JDisc Discovery. This video explains how to configure access in the Azure portal properly to obtain all the desired information. The first step to obtain information from the Azure portal is to create a separate application in the Azure portal. Load it onto your portal and then select the EntraID service. Click on the app registrations and add a new application by clicking on the new registration link. Provide a name like, for instance, JDisc Scan App and click on Register. In order to authenticate, we need to create a client secret. Click on the new client secret link, provide a name and a duration. When the secret got created, then copy its value. You will need it later on when configuring access within JDisc Discovery. Finally, we need to add the required permissions. All permissions are related to the Microsoft Graph API. Open the API permissions and you find the user read permission by default. However, you need several other permissions. The first one is the permission to read user profile information for the registered user. Select the Microsoft Graph API and add the user read all permission. This permission is mandatory for the Azure scan. If you would like to get the last logon date for users, then you need to enable the permission audit log read all. However, this permission is not required but optional. The second mandatory permission is the directory read all. Adding this permission enables the application to read the EntraID directory structure and relationships. When you are using Intune to manage your devices, then you might add the permission Device Management Manage Devices Read All. This permission enables JDisc Discovery to read the list of managed devices together with information like model, serial number, manufacturer, and other device-related information. This permission is optional and only required when you have devices managed by Intune. And finally, you might add the permission Device Local Credential Read All when you have enabled LAPS on your Intune managed devices and when the password gets stored in the Intune portal and not in the local Active Directory. This permission is also optional and only required when you used Intune managed LAPS. Finally, don't forget to grant admin consent. Now you are all set. Let's begin exploring what JDisc Discovery can scan from Azure infrastructure. After setting up access to the Azure portal by creating a new application and granting permissions, you can access the following information. We retrieve the list of subscriptions and their resources. Ensure you have added read permissions for the new application to each subscription you want to access. We retrieve the list of virtual machines for each subscription. We get some dedicated services like hosted databases, storage services, and some others. Just contact us if you are missing some. We get the list of Office 365 subscription, service plans, and the assignments to users. We determine the EntraID structure including users and groups, administrative units, and devices managed by Intune together with their relationships. Finally, we have just recently extended our LAPS support when the local administrator's credentials get stored within the Azure portal and not locally in your Active Directory. Now let's configure Azure access within JDisc Discovery. First, we need to obtain some information from the Intune portal. We need some information from the EntraID app registration. What we need is the tenant ID and the application ID, which you can copy from the app registration main page. And finally, you need the client secret that you copied in when you created the client secret. Now let's set up access to the Azure portal within JDisc Discovery. To do this, we first need to define a connection name. This can be any name of your choice that clearly identifies the connection. Next, we'll need the tenant ID, which can be easily copied from the Azure portal. Finally, we require the application ID of the newly created application in the portal, along with its corresponding key secret. It's a good practice to create a separate discovery job dedicated solely to scanning the cloud environment. This approach provides more flexibility in scheduling cloud infrastructure scans. Open the Discovery Configuration dialog from JDisc Discovery's main window and select the Cloud tab. Click on the Add button to add a new Azure portal connection. Provide a descriptive name. The tenant ID. The application ID. And the key secret. Once we have provided the credentials, we might test it by clicking on the test button. Now we are all set. The next video explains how to run your first Azure scan, how to review data, and how to use Intune managed labs. Thank you for watching this video and give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Get our software from your download page and find more videos on our YouTube channels. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn.